All right, guys. Hey, this is Mr. Bright, and I'm going to be looking at how to kind of do the rest of our slides, or most of our slides. So we have the habitat, the adaptations, and the diet. Those are going to be kind of what I cover here, but I'm going to deal mostly with the habitat. So I just want to show you the basic things that you're going to be working on. So right now we're on the habitat. Now notice on my habitat, it's slide number 6. So I didn't do adaptation. So I decided I wanted to start with habitat first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take any of the information that I got from the National Geographic site, and I'm going to be looking for information that helps me to write about the habitat. And the habitat, remember, is where they live. So for mine on the polar bear, it says polar bears live along shores and on sea ice in the icy cold Arctic. So then I come over here and I find a way to write that in my own words, because I don't want to use the scientific words there that somebody else did. I want to put it into my own words. So what I've done is I just say that the polar bear's habitat is in the Arctic. Oops, I forgot an is. So is in the Arctic. So I'm just using this little sentence frame up here, blank, the polar bear's habitat is in what? So in this case, it was the Arctic. Could be in the forest, could be in the rainforest, these kinds of things. Okay, but continuing on, I'm going to do some more information. And I've searched this. I've already read this by myself, so I'm not reading super fast. But what I found over here is down here, it gave me a little bit more information. So it says they've made dens in the earth and snowbanks. But even before that, I want to put what the Arctic kind of is, because just looking at the pictures and doing my research, I'm going to type in some things here. That there is a lot of snow and ice. Okay, so in the Arctic, that's where it is. And then I found out about the dens, so I'm going to put that in there. I have the polar bear makes dens in the snow or land, because it depends on what kind of environment they're in. Okay, now I got to re-put that is back in there. Now, notice that only 3 sentences, okay, but it gives me some good information about the habitat. So what I need to do, though, is 2 things. Number one is, let's get rid of this extra sentence because I don't need it. But it gives me a good example of making sure I have capital letters and things like that. All right, our next thing is the habitat, and this is going to be just real quick. And so we're going to go over to the Explore button right down here at the bottom. I had to move my face because the Explore button's up there. And right up here in the Explore button, where the magnifying glass is, we're going to do our search. And for me, it was polar bear. Okay. And I push enter and it searches the web and it gives me some images. So I don't need the web for this one. I'm just going to go to images. Okay, and over here, I just scroll down once or twice. I don't need to go any further and find one that I like. Oh, I like this one here. So I'm just going to click and drag it right onto my picture. And then I can just resize it from here. Obviously, this is way too big. Okay, so I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. That might be a little bit too small. So I've got to scroll over and kind of just adjust it to my slides. Okay, so up here, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. I'm clicking in the bottom corner where that blue part is. It's going to be able to make it a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to adjust as I need to. Okay, so it gives a good example of what the polar bear's habitat is. Now, if I just typed in polar bear and it didn't come up with a good picture, maybe I'm going to put polar bear habitat instead. And I'm going to search for that and see if it maybe is some better pictures. But I think for my polar bear, it's kind of the both. It's got both in there. So it gives me a good example. That's a little creepy one right there. So anyway, I'm going to put that on there. And you're going to do the same thing for your adaptations. You're going to write 3 to 5 sentences. And on each of those, it does give you guys a little helpful sentence to start you off. So it's not working. There we go. So for adaptations, polar bears have many adaptations, period. And then I'm going to type another couple sentences on those adaptations, and same with the diet and the other things. All right. If you have any other questions, go ahead and ask your facilitator or rewatch the video as you need to. All right. Bye, guys.